Ladies and gentlemen, the most unstoppable force on earth is a human being who has decided to master their mind. When you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your destiny. The world cannot bend a person who has bent their fears into fuel. You become too powerful the moment you realize that the only permission you need is your own. Do not be deceived. Power is not in titles, in money, or in applause. Power is in the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. It is in your discipline, it is in your refusal to be shaken by the storms around you. Every time you choose focus over distraction, purpose over pleasure, and growth over comfort, you rise, you elevate. You become too powerful to be ignored, too committed to be stopped. Adversity, that is the sharpening stone. The trial that looks like a wall is often a door in disguise, and those who walk through it come out forged, not fractured. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, and so are people of greatness. The pain you resist is the power you postpone, but when you embrace it, learn from it, and use it, you step into a realm of personal strength that no one can take from you. A person with a definite purpose is already more powerful than 10 who drift. When you know who you are and what you want, the universe begins to move in alignment. Obstacles bow to vision. Doubt dissolves in the presence of unwavering belief. And fear, it flees from those who walk with faith rooted in reason. But here is the truth. They won't see it coming. They won't understand the transformation that happened when you stopped seeking approval and started pursuing greatness. Because when your power is real, you don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your presence alone will speak. Your work will echo. Your results will thunder. You will walk into a room and the air will change, because you've changed. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when you become too powerful. Power begins with the control of one's own thoughts. This is the foundation, the invisible force that separates the weak from the strong, the wandering from the focused, and the ordinary from the extraordinary. It is not something you find in a book or borrow from another. It must be cultivated, shaped, and commanded from within. The human mind is the most potent instrument ever known, but without direction it becomes a slave to the world. With direction, however, it becomes the master of it. Every great achievement known to mankind began with a single thought, a thought that was held long enough, with enough conviction, to become a belief. And that belief, once fixed in the subconscious, began to shape behavior, attract opportunity, and generate momentum. The problem is that most people never take command of their thoughts. They let fear speak louder than desire. They let doubt hold more weight than vision. They live reactive lives, prisoners to emotion, circumstance, and the noise of the outside world. To become truly powerful, one must begin with this essential act, to think deliberately. This means you do not allow your mind to wander unchecked. You do not accept every thought that floats by as truth. You examine, you filter, you replace weakness with strength. You train your mind like a soldier trains for war, disciplined, alert, and with a clear mission. Because your thoughts are the architects of your reality. If they are scattered, so is your life. If they are focused, your life reflects that precision. Thoughts are seeds. When planted with intent and nurtured with repetition, they yield a harvest. But here is the secret most never grasp. The mind will grow whatever is planted. Whether it be weeds of fear or seeds of faith, the soil does not discriminate. It simply produces. So if you do not deliberately choose the thoughts you wish to hold, the world will choose for you. And the world is noisy, chaotic, often fearful and distracted. Letting that energy shape your thinking is to hand over your power. Real power begins the moment you sit still, look inward, and decide what you want to believe. Not what your past told you, not what others expect from you, not what society has repeated into your ears, but what you choose, because in that choice and the repetition of that choice, a new pattern is formed. And that pattern becomes a mindset, and that mindset becomes your compass. You begin to walk differently when your thoughts align with strength. You speak with clarity. You act with confidence. You make decisions not from fear of loss, but from belief in gain. You are no longer swayed by opinions or setbacks, because you know that your thoughts create your emotions shape your actions, and your actions determine your results. Everything begins in the mind. Everything, the person who says, "I can," and the person who says, "I can't," are both usually right, not because the words hold magic, but because the thoughts behind them drive behavior, and behavior over time becomes destiny. When you realize this, you stop giving power to your circumstances. You stop waiting for the perfect time. You understand that you do not need permission. You need decision. A decision to take control of the one thing that is always within your reach, your mind. When the mind is disciplined, when it is trained to dwell on strength, clarity, purpose, and possibility, nothing can truly stop you. Setbacks become setups. Failure becomes fuel. Criticism becomes feedback. You do not crumble under pressure. You rise, not because the world changed, but because your thinking did. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You hear possibility where others hear doubt. And most of all, you persist where others quit, not because you are stronger, but because you are more focused. Mastery of thought is mastery of self, and mastery of self is the birthplace of all meaningful power. Not domination over others, but dominion over your own path. That is the essence of greatness, not what you accumulate, but who you become through the relentless control and elevation of your inner world. When you own your thoughts, you own your future. Self-discipline is the foundation of all enduring power. It is the invisible force that transforms fleeting desires into lasting achievements and scattered energy into focused momentum. Without self-discipline, even the most brilliant ideas remain nothing more than dreams. It is the bridge between knowing what must be done and actually doing it. The power you seek does not come from external circumstances or sudden bursts of motivation. It is cultivated in the quiet moments when you choose persistence over comfort, action over hesitation, and principle over impulse. Consider the mind as a garden. Self-discipline is the steady hand that pulls the weeds of distraction and neglect, allowing the seeds of success to take root and flourish. It requires sacrifice, yes, but these sacrifices are not losses, they are investments. Every small act of discipline is a deposit in your personal bank of power, compounding daily until your character is strong enough to withstand any storm. Those who succeed understand this truth deeply. They have trained themselves to act consistently, even when enthusiasm fades and the path becomes steep. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is not talent alone, but the ability to regulate the self. The power of desire is diminished without discipline to guide it. A powerful mind without discipline is like a river without banks, wild, unfocused, and ultimately destructive. But when discipline channels that power, it becomes an unstoppable force, carving valleys, moving mountains, and shaping the landscape of your life. Self-discipline means choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It means setting clear boundaries and holding yourself accountable when no one else is watching. It is waking up each day and committing to your purpose, regardless of how you feel. This is where true power is forged, through repetition, through struggle, through the daily decisions to do what must be done rather than what is easy. The moment you take ownership of your actions and refuse to be a slave to your impulses, you step into a new realm of power. No one can give you self-discipline. It cannot be borrowed or inherited. It must be developed within, like a muscle strengthened through exercise. At first, it may feel uncomfortable or unnatural, but with persistence, it becomes second nature. The habits you build through discipline become your identity. They shape how you think, how you act, and how others perceive you. When you master this, you master the greatest secret of power, the ability to delay gratification and stay the course, even when the rewards are distant or invisible. Many people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They look for quick wins or dramatic breakthroughs, yet it is the slow, steady drip of discipline that carves canyons and builds empires. It is in the daily routines, the repeated choices to rise above temptation, to focus on what matters, that true power accumulates. This is why those who have mastered self discipline often achieve results that seem effortless to outsiders. The effort was never effortless. It was simply persistent, focused, and disciplined. Self-discipline also trains your mind to resist the influence of doubt, fear, and negativity. When you commit to a path and discipline yourself to follow it, you develop a mental resilience that cannot be easily shaken. Challenges become tests, not roadblocks. Criticism becomes a signal to improve, not a reason to quit. The power that arises from discipline is deeply rooted in confidence. Confidence born from the knowledge that you have the strength to endure, to persevere, and to keep moving forward no matter what. True power is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself. When you have self-discipline, you are no longer a victim of circumstance or emotion. You become the master of your own destiny. You set the standards by which you live and refuse to settle for less. This internal authority commands respect far beyond what any external title or position can grant. In the end, self-discipline is not a restriction, but a liberation. It frees you from the chains of instant gratification and impulsive behavior. It allows you to harness your energy, your talents, and your passions toward meaningful, lasting success. It is the foundation upon which all power is built, the quiet, consistent force that turns potential into reality and dreams into destiny. Adversity is not a curse. It is a stepping stone to invincibility. This truth, though often hidden beneath layers of struggle and pain, is the secret embraced by those who achieve lasting power. Life does not promise ease or comfort. It promises challenges, tests, and obstacles that separate the strong from the weak. The moment you begin to see adversity as an enemy, you give it power over you. But when you recognize it as the forge where your character is tempered, it becomes your greatest ally. Every setback, every failure, every difficulty you encounter carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. It is not the adversity itself that defines you, but how you respond to it. Those who become truly powerful do not avoid hardship. They seek to understand it, learn from it, and use it as fuel for their ascent. This is the mark of an unbreakable spirit, the refusal to be defeated by circumstances, the ability to transform pain into purpose. Adversity tests your resolve. It exposes weaknesses, but also reveals hidden strengths. It strips away illusions and forces you to confront reality. It is in those moments of struggle that you develop resilience, courage, and wisdom, qualities that cannot be gained through comfort or ease. The world often tries to shield us from discomfort, but the price of comfort is often stagnation. True power grows only when you are willing to endure the discomfort that comes with growth. Imagine the strongest steel. It is not formed by gentle heat, but by intense fire and pressure. The same is true for the mind and spirit. When you face adversity head-on, you build an inner strength that is impervious to external blows. You learn to stand firm, to adapt, and to rise again no matter how many times you fall. This is not luck or chance. It is a conscious choice to embrace struggle as a necessary part of your journey. Adversity also teaches patience and persistence. When the path is clear and easy, it is tempting to rush, to become careless or complacent. But when obstacles appear, you are forced to slow down, to plan, and to develop a deeper understanding of your purpose. It refines your focus and sharpens your determination. The power that emerges from overcoming hardship is not superficial. It is deep, lasting, and rooted in experience. Moreover, adversity builds empathy and humility. When you face difficulties, you understand the struggles of others. This awareness strengthens your character and connects you to a greater human experience. Power without compassion is brittle and often short-lived. The most powerful people combine strength with kindness, authority with understanding. Adversity humbles you, teaches you, and ultimately prepares you to lead with both courage and grace. Many fear failure because they misunderstand its role. Failure is not the opposite of success, but a vital part of it. Each failure is a lesson disguised, a necessary step toward mastery. Those who become too powerful recognize that every defeat carries insight and every fall is an opportunity to rise higher. They refuse to let fear of failure control their actions. Instead, they use adversity as a ladder, climbing steadily despite the pain and setbacks. It is also important to remember that adversity cannot define you unless you allow it. You are more than your challenges, more than your past mistakes or losses. The power to rise above adversity lies within your mind and spirit. When you take control of your response, you reclaim your power. You decide who you will become, not what happened to you. The journey through adversity is not easy, but it is essential. It separates the momentary from the permanent, the shallow from the profound. Power gained without struggle is often fragile and fleeting. But power earned through adversity is enduring, authentic, and unstoppable. When you fully accept this principle, you stop fearing difficulty and start seeking growth. You understand that each obstacle is a test of your commitment, a call to deepen your resolve. You no longer run from pain but face it with courage, knowing that on the other side lies strength beyond measure. This mindset transforms you, it elevates you. It makes you too powerful to be shaken by the trials of life. Definiteness of purpose transforms ordinary people into forces of nature. Without a clear and unwavering goal, a person drifts like a ship without a rudder, subject to every wave and gust of wind that life sends their way. But when purpose is fixed and definite, it acts as a guiding star, a magnetic force that aligns your thoughts, your actions, and your very being toward one end. This singular focus is the engine of power, the spark that ignites potential and propels it into unstoppable momentum. A definite purpose eliminates confusion and hesitation. It cuts through the noise of doubt and distraction. When you know exactly what you want and why you want it, every decision becomes easier, every step more certain. Your mind begins to organize itself around that goal, filtering out what does not serve it and embracing what does. The power of definiteness lies in this clarity, which breeds confidence and decisiveness, qualities essential for achieving greatness. Purpose is not a vague wish or a fleeting desire. It is a burning commitment, an obsession that compels you forward no matter the obstacles. It demands sacrifices, yes, but those sacrifices are made willingly because they serve a higher vision. People with definite purpose do not waste energy on trivial pursuits or empty distractions. Their time, their focus, and their resources are invested with precision, yielding exponential returns. Definiteness of purpose also aligns you with the laws of success. The mind works best when it has a clear target. It begins to seek solutions, attract opportunities, and build relationships that support the goal. This is not magic. It is the natural consequence of a mind fully engaged and intent on one thing. The universe responds to clarity and determination. When your purpose is definite, you create a magnetic field around yourself that draws success closer. This clarity of purpose is the antidote to fear and uncertainty. When the goal is vague, the path seems overwhelming and the risks insurmountable. But when the purpose is sharp and definite, fear loses its grip. You see obstacles as temporary, even welcome challenges that test your resolve and strengthen your commitment. You develop a resilience that carries you forward through setbacks and disappointments because you know exactly where you are going. Definiteness of purpose breeds perseverance. It is the fuel for persistence when enthusiasm wanes and difficulties arise. It transforms a simple goal into a mission. When your purpose is deeply embedded in your heart and mind, quitting is not an option. You develop a relentless spirit that keeps pushing forward, step by step, until the vision becomes reality. This quality distinguishes the successful from the unsuccessful more than talent, education, or luck. Many are talented, many are well educated, and many stumble into fortune. But those who rise to true power and influence are those who know their purpose clearly and pursue it without deviation. They possess an inner compass that guides every move. ensuring that their efforts are aligned and effective. Definiteness of purpose also influences the subconscious mind. When you declare your goal with certainty and repeat it consistently, it embeds deeply in your subconscious. This is where true transformation begins, because the subconscious mind works tirelessly to make the conscious desires real. It influences your habits, your attitudes, and even your relationships in ways that align with your definite purpose. The person who lacks a definite purpose is like a rudderless boat, drifting aimlessly in the vast sea of life. They may move, but they do not progress. Their energy dissipates, and they become vulnerable to external influences and internal doubts. But the person with a definite purpose is anchored. They have a destination, a mission that shapes their choices and fuels their actions. They move forward with intention and power. When your purpose is definite, it creates a sense of urgency and discipline. You no longer procrastinate or delay important tasks because every moment counts toward the fulfillment of your goal. Time becomes your ally, and you respect it accordingly. Your actions gain momentum, and momentum creates results. Ultimately, definiteness of purpose is the secret that turns dreams into reality. It is the foundational principle behind all great success. When your purpose is clear, your mind, your heart, and your hands work in harmony. You become a force of nature, focused, powerful, and unstoppable. True power is silent, focused, and deeply rooted in inner conviction. It does not seek attention or applause, nor does it rely on external validation to prove its strength. Those who possess genuine power understand that the loudest voice is often the weakest, and that true influence flows quietly from a mind and spirit aligned with unwavering certainty. Power that shouts is easily challenged. Power that is silent commands respect without a word. This quiet power begins within. It is the product of deep belief in oneself and one's purpose. It is forged through the discipline of thought, the mastery of emotions, and the relentless pursuit of personal growth. When your conviction is strong, it creates a calm confidence that cannot be shaken by criticism, failure, or opposition. Others sense this energy immediately, an unspoken force that draws people, opens doors, and shifts circumstances in your favor. Focused power is not scattered or distracted.